We are here with World War II veteran Mr. Martin F. Haynes. And how are you today, sir?
Doing fine, sir. And
Good.
you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Good to be here.
Good. Tell us your complete name, please.
Martin Fletcher Haynes.
Okay, and what was your rank when you left the service?
In the Navy, electrician's mate, second class.
Okay, and what was your birth date?
June 18th, 1925.
Okay, and where were you born?
In Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. And when did you join the Navy?
On June the 17th, 1943.
Okay. And how did that come about? You just you wanted to go, or your buddies were leaving? What motivated you to join the Navy at that time?
Well, I had tried to join the Air Force and went to take the test at the the post office on Forsyth Street, the new post office back then. And I took the test, and I didn't pass the test. And so I took it twice. And the second time was the June the 17th. And as I found out that I had flunked it again, I was walking down the hall, and there was this sign that said, "Join the Navy, U.S. Navy." And I turned in, and I told the guy there in charge that I was 17 years old, and I would be 18 tomorrow, and I wanted to join the Navy. I didn't want to go into the Army. And he made out a bunch of papers, and he says, "You go home, take these to your parents for them to sign, and bring them back today. And tomorrow you'll be on your way." So right then I went home and told my mother, who was the only one surviving, my mother, that I wanted to join the Navy. And she didn't want me to join the Navy, but I explained to her that tomorrow I would be in the Army if she didn't sign the papers. So she signed the papers. I went back downtown to the Navy, and they swore me in the Navy that afternoon and said, "You be here in the morning at 7 o'clock with some underwear and razor and whatever else you want, but don't bring a lot." So I reported there on June the 18th, 1943. And from there, I went to the Naval Training, Navy Training Station at Bainbridge, Maryland. And I went into the training session there. I was in the boot camp for 6 weeks. After that, I had a week off and went to home and saw my girlfriend and everything, and had to go back the next week, and I went into Navy school to be an electrician. And I was in the electrical school for 3 months. And after that, I was assigned to a LST group to report to Norfolk, Virginia. We was down there at, I was trying to think of the name of the company down there, Bradford Training School or something like that. Anyway, that's where we learned how to handle LSTs and all the equipment that was on it. And went from Bainbridge to up on got on a train, and we left there and went across back then they didn't have a bridge across Chesapeake Bay. So we went across him on the ferry. Our train was rolled on the ferry. We went across to Delaware, and we went from Delaware to New York, to Boston, Massachusetts. And there I was put into a company, assigned to a group, and there I stayed and went to gyro compass school, and I was there for about 6 or 8 weeks, and they told us our ship was ready. So we went to the shipyard over there, and there was this brand new LST-909. So we had a little shakedown cruise, and they brought us back in, and we did a few work jobs that had to be done. Then we went from there to Norfolk, Virginia. And when we went to Norfolk, we had some added equipment put on the ship. And then from there, we went back up. We went to New York. And we were in New York for about 3 or 4 days. And we had some, believe it or not, some extra equipment put on there. So we left New York and went south. We went south to Panama Canal. And it took us about, 3 or 4 days to go with all the traffic going through the canal to get from the Atlantic to the Pacific. We got to Pacific and we went to up the Pacific coast up to San Diego. And San Diego, we did some extra school and so forth like that. And while we were there, I went to Pasadena, California to see my mother's brother and his family that lived there. And I only spent one night there, and he took me out to the highway, and believe it or not, I caught a ride, the first thing, going back to San Diego. And then from San Diego, we went to San Francisco. And there we loaded some equipment and so forth, and went to Hawaii. And at Hawaii, we spent several days there, and then left Hawaii for points east. And I can't remember the name of the first island, but I can remember that we went to the first invasion that we participated in was Lady Gulf in the Philippine Islands. And we were one of the initial guys that hit the beach because we had troops and equipment aboard. And they made it all right. Most of them did. And of course we were able to get back off. We landed on the beach, let down the ramp and unloaded, and then used the stern anchor, which was about 200 yards in back of us, and cranked that with that, used the, can't can't remember the name of the stuff, to help pull us off of the beach. Well, we stayed there a few days, and we went from there. We went to the Marianas, down to can't even think of the name of the island. Anyway, we went there, and then turned around, and we went back up there for another operation at Philippine Islands, an island called Mindoro. And we almost got sunk there.
What happened?
A kamikaze crashed right off of our ship. He was trying to go into us, and he didn't quite make it, thank goodness. But several of the guys on the ship got hit with the shrapnel, and there's about 4 or 5 of them gunners. The shrapnel hit them because the plane exploded as it came down beside the ship. Went from there back down to down to the Marianas and loaded up again, and came back and went to another island up there called Luzon, which was, I think that's the island.
The Philippines.
That was it was one of the largest Philippine islands, and we stayed there for quite a while, and kept going back to the Marianas because that was a base at this time where we could get supplies and everything else that we needed. And went from there to went down to south, down to I can't think of the name of the island.
It's okay.
That makes me mad.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna take a picture of all the places, and it's listed on there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll reference that.
So we I was trying to think. Anyway, we went south and moved a marine base from these islands down there up north to different places. And we made a couple of trips that way. And then we went to a little place called Okinawa, which was just south of Japan. And man, we were not there on the day, but we were there about the 3rd or 4th day. But boy, was it a pistol ball. We almost got, it was really, man, we knew that we were in a fight. And we were lucky. We got some shrapnel and stuff, but we didn't get, we were able to get back okay. Went back to the Philippines. And then we got down to the Philippines, and we were in Luzon, and we had, this is over a period of years now, months and years. We were loaded. We had weapon carriers and soldiers and guns. Oh man, we were loaded for Japan. We were in this was in Luzon at the Philippine Islands, and there was about, I guess 8 or 10 of us LSTs loaded at this place to go to invade Japan when the word came that Japan had surrendered. So then, in place of that, we went back to the islands there and unloaded what we had and loaded for to invade, not invasion, but to take care of all of our land forces and so forth up there. So we went from there to come on, buddy.
Hiroshima?
No, we went on could have been, it was 2 islands. I went 2 places in Japan. One of them was Hiroshima and the other one was Nagoya. And I believe we went to Hiroshima first. And of course we unloaded all of our gear and everything and stayed there for a few days when everybody got unloaded. Then we went back to Philippines, loaded again. Came back at that time, we went to oh buddy.
It's okay. Tell me the story about the photographs you were able to take and what you took photographs of. Can you tell us that story?
Well, a lot of these photographs I did not take because I didn't have a camera. Oh, I had a mini camera, but we had a pharmacist made on the ship that was he had a camera, and he took pictures every place that we went that he could. But the thing about it is, he knew we had a motor machinist who had a son, had a brother-in-law that was on the in the Air Force stationed over at Saipan, and that was his my friend who was the machinist, Bill Wolf, would go to see his brother-in-law over at Saipan, and he would come back with all kinds of picture supplies, photographic supplies. Well, we had rigged a deal where we could cut the film, because those photograph things was about this wide, and we rigged it where we could cut that film in the dark, cut it, and we made rolls of film, and that's where we got all of these pictures we took everywhere.
So were you supposed to, was it allowed to take photographs at that time?
Well, let's just say they didn't exactly frown on it, but they didn't say go ahead, because the officers wanted the pictures too. So, you know, we didn't, of course, we didn't charge anybody any money for the pictures. All we wanted was, if we could get the film to make the pictures, that I knew how to develop them down in that electric shop. And we would develop those pictures and print them down there. And we did that for, Lord, from can to can't, you know. And this Bill Wolf would get the film for us, and me and can't think of the boy's name. Anyway, we would develop the pictures and print them and everything. And that's the way that we got all of this film pictures that we have now.
Okay. So when did you arrive at Hiroshima?
You mean the date?
Or just about the date? Was it before the bomb, after the bomb? I mean, obviously after the bomb. How long after the bomb?
Oh, yeah. Hiroshima, we was after bomb.
How long after?
They, I think it was about 6 months
6 months after.
after,
Okay.
because the Army and the Marines went in there first. Of course, the Navy take them in there. But as far as the occupational forces, we didn't go in there immediately. But we were loaded for it because we knew that we were going.
Right. Tell me, what was your most frightful moment in combat? Can you have one story that sticks out in your mind?
Lord of mercy. Well, I really don't have a frightful moment because I was, for all during combat, I was in the engine room in the bottom of the ship. I was the electrician that was in charge of the big flat switchboard down there that covered about 2/3 of the width of the ship. It had the switches and everything for everything that went on that ship. And that was me during the battles. And so, only thing I had the earphones on, and of course I could hear some conversation, but I couldn't exactly tell what was going on, but we could hear the bombs and we could, things like that. But we were lucky that we didn't get hit. But they tried.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for spending this time with us and sharing your World War II experiences. And thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you stand for and everything that your generation has done. We're very grateful.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about it. It's this is a very rare occasion because, believe it or not, most of the guys after World War II were either dead or they didn't want to talk about it, or, it's just one of those things. But I'm proud that I was able to go, and I'm proud that I got back, and appreciate your interest.
Thank you, sir.
Good.